guys, welcome to Ravenclaw Reads. I'm Courtney and you are joining me for another weekly reading vlog. I am hopping on Monday, feeling productive. I follow Alexandra Roslin. I've talked about her a ton on this channel, and I also am part of her Patreon. And she does reading sprints like Fridays or Saturdays, but they're like 3, 4, or 5 hours. And so I don't catch them on Friday or Saturday, but I do love watching them or having them in the background on Monday as I'm getting my week started. So that's what I'm doing today. Anyway, this weekend was a good reading weekend. So I saw you guys last on Saturday, and so you kind of know that I finished up a few books going into the weekend. What did I finish? I can't even remember, guys. But let's talk about what I read yesterday. So I read Check-In Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I got this as an add-on to my Book of the Month Club for November. I was really excited they had this book as an add-on. And they did that with Love Theoretically too. I'm not quite sure why it's not a main book, but it is an add-on. And I ended up giving this book 4 stars. So in this book, we're following Nolan and Mallory. This is a YA book. I'll get back to that in a second. And Mallory is a recent college graduate. She's 20. She lives at home. She helps take care of her mom, who has rheumatoid arthritis, and her 2 younger siblings. But they're teens. They're not like babies. And her dad's not in the picture anymore, but he was a chess guru, and she played chess for a very long time. It's sort of like a child prodigy in chess, but she's sort of given that up because of the dark memories that it holds for her. And she goes to a competition on a whim and plays against a guy named Nolan. She doesn't really know who he is, but she beats him, and she gets notoriety because Nolan is this #1 seeded chess player, and this no-name person just came in and beat him. And so she gets kind of recruited by this group that spends their day strategizing about chess, and they go to different competitions and championships. And so we learn about Mallory's backstory. Her and Nolan are kind of enemies at first because he wants to know how she beat him. She doesn't want to have anything to do with chess, really, but she needs the money to be a part of this group to play chess. And they kind of start working in cahoots for a little bit, which I won't get into. But I gave it a 4. I almost gave it a 4.5, but I gave it a 4 because it was pretty solid. Things that didn't sit well with me were that I get it's a chess book, right? But like, did I need to know the inner workings of chess tournaments? No, like I didn't. I wasn't here for the ongoing drama. And then like, there was like a subplot of one of the chess people being like super grimy, and it was like, guys, it's chess, let's just calm down. I will say though, and I don't know if this is real or not, so if you know, comment down below, but they were saying that in this book, if you won like the big championship, you're getting $3 million. What? I played chess as a kid, and I'm pretty rusty now, but if I would have known that I could be a chess prodigy, I would have been. And so, but it's really cute. 4 stars, I do recommend. However, originally I got this and was thinking Kennedy could read it. She's 15. There is some language in here, and some suggestion, some sexual suggestion. But I'll say this book is not necessarily YA in my opinion. I would name this like YA plus, like a middle ground. It's got a lot of heavy language. It's got a lot of suggestion about sex and talk about sex. And the main girl, Mallory, is bisexual, which does happen in YA books. But what I'm exploring is this sort of like arbitrary placement of quote unquote diverse characters. Because Mallory is bisexual. She mentions it right off the bat. But like, there's no exploration really, in my opinion, of her in that 3D setting of being a whole person. It's very sexualized in the way that she is depicted as a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. And so I just felt like, and a lot of teen books are doing this, where it's just like they're plopping in pieces of diverse characters, but they're not really truly developing them, or they're leaning into stereotypes. And so I was disappointed in that part, but 4 stars. Then I was like, okay, what can I read next? And I picked up, let's see if I can pull it out. I picked up Tessa Bailey's most recent book. It's called Same Time Next Year, I want to say. And this is a cute little novella. Let me pull it up. And I read it in a sitting. So I read it last night before bed. Oh my goodness. Can I pull it up, please? I was reading on my Paperwhite mostly yesterday, so I'm pulling out the Scribe now, and I can't find it. Okay, here it is. Same Time Next Year. So I was reading Same Time Next Year, and this book follows, it's only 144 pages. This book follows our 2 main characters. Of course, I don't know their names. And they, let's see if I can figure out their names. They, okay, Sumner, and the girl's name is Britta. I'm amazing. I amaze myself every day. Okay, Sumner and Britta. Sumner is a hockey player from Canada. He's here on a work visa, but his work visa is running out. He's on a team that's about to win, and he needs to stay in the United States. So Britta, who works at a bar that everybody frequents, she's like, not like regular girls, if you know what I mean. She is a cool girl, and the guys on the team approach her to say like, hey, can you marry Sumner so that he can get a marriage visa? And she's like, you know what? I'll make that sacrifice. I will do that. Sumner's like amazingly handsome, tall. They kept mentioning how big he was, like just tall guy. And Britta's tiny, of course. And so they kind of go through a year with them of like getting to know each other, preparing for their interview to get the green card. And obviously they start falling for each other. And then it's Tessa Bailey, so it gets very steamy. And then like there's a chunk in the middle that like I kept skipping, so it was getting steamy, and then it just like continued like there was nothing else happening. But it was overall a really cute book. I think I ended up giving this, oh, I was nice. I gave it 4 stars. I don't know that I would stick with 4, maybe 3. But I liked that it was nice and short. And I'm kind of in the mood for just light romance. So let's talk about what I'm going to read today. So I started Iron Flame on the weekend. And I read it on the Kindle. I think I got about, let's see what page. You know, it's all different pages, whether you're, excuse me, on the Kindle or the book. So let me see what page I got to, or what percentage. I think I got to about 6%. And there's nothing wrong with it. I liked Iron Flame, or I liked Fourth Being, I like Iron Flame. My problem right now is that I just read Powerless, which is a fantasy. I just kind of want a couple more books that are nice and fluffy before I deep dive into this 800-page book. Or what is it? It's 500, it's 6 something, but like 800 on Kindle. So I will come back to this. But I'm trying to think about what I want to read. So I do need to read book number 22, Jessie Ramsey Pet Sitter. I'm so disappointed. It's my fault. I left this downstairs and baby Mocha got it. And this book was in pristine condition. But one thing that I want to know, and I noted with Kennedy yesterday, was look at Jessie. Look at Jessie. Now, my oldest goes, she does not look 13. And I was like, this girl's 11. Okay, this is not an 11-year-old. Now, we know she's tall for her age, okay, because she does ballet, but look at the face. This is not the face of an 11-year-old. What are we doing? Whoever modeled for this, like, 28 years old. So I have to read this, and when I opened it, look what I found. I got these books from eBay, so this is so cool. So if you watch my show, my show, what, am I on TV? If you watch my vlogs and your name is Erin Lowenberg, was this your book from 1990? I have it. Thank you. Thank you for selling it. I got to page 3, so barely anything, and I was just like, I don't feel like reading this right now. But I will. Jessie, I don't have a connection with her yet, but we'll see. The other book that's kind of on my radar is the other book I got from Book of the Month Club. This Spells Love. It looks like a cutesy romance. It's about 300 pages. And I could do this, but I kind of feel like reading something on the Kindle. I also have Daisy Hates that I'm still 100 pages into. I've kind of lost steam on this one, but I could go back to. And then on my Kindle, I could stick with Iron Flame, or what's going to probably happen is that I will go back. Let's see. I've been reading Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. That's her newest book. I'm about 4 or 6% into that. Also, The Boy at the Bookstore that I could read. But like, that's the kind of vibe I'm feeling. Something cutesy, romancy, lovey-dovey, in the 200, 300 page range. So I need to do a couple of those before I can get into Iron Flame. So I'm okay if it takes me to the end of the month to read this, or even if I start it next month, or even in January. Like, I'm not pressed. I'm not really watching spoilers on it. And so sometimes spoilers do help me though, because sometimes I get a little bit lost in the minutia of the book. So I'm not mad about that either. Anyway, that's the update for Monday. A lot going on. I'm gonna go eat my lunch and figure out what I'm gonna read. And yeah, I'll check back in. Bye guys. Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Checking in to tell you what I read today, or what my plan was. So it's a little bit later in the night. It is 7:47. And I kind of started the day not knowing what I wanted to read. Last night I finished Jessie Ramsey Pet Sitter. I ended up giving that 3 stars. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't like the pet plot at all. Like, that, to me, I could have just skipped that whole thing. But what was interesting, and what I always love about the Babysitters Club books, is when they get some grime, there's fighting, there's infighting, because whenever and I said this before, anytime anybody has a different way of being, or has a question or anything of the Babysitters Club, you know, all things break loose. So in this one, everybody questions Christy for not doing as much as the other babysitters do, because she's the president, and so she doesn't take as many jobs as the other girls, which I didn't realize. And they just feel like she's too bossy, and she is kind of bossy in this book. She's always bossy, but in particular in this book. And so they decide they want to vote their jobs, like who said I should be the treasurer, who should be the president, and they decide they're going to do a vote to decide if they should switch jobs. Spoiler, they all vote for themselves to keep their jobs, but it's just the fighting and the little nasty snarkiness that's so hilarious to me. And so then I was like, I don't know what I want to read today, because I just don't know. I have like, it's almost like overwhelming with the books, because I have so many that I could read that I don't know what I want to read. But I decided I was going to be like every other basic book girly right now and read Iron Flame and Love Redesigned. So Iron Flame obviously is the second book in the Fourth Wing series. I'm about 9% into this book, and it's already starting off really good. I started at like 3%, or I stopped at about 3% and stopped because I had just read Powerless last week, and that was its own set of fantasy world. And so I was like, I wasn't ready. I wanted to read a couple of really soft romance, fluffy, no brain power type books. But now I'm just going to get into Iron Flame because there's nothing else to read that I want to like dive into right now. But I'm glad that I moved forward because it's picking up already from the beginning. And I'm already like gasping of like, oh my gosh, can't believe that happened. And we're only 9% in. So really excited about that. And then I also had downloaded Lauren Asher's new book, Love Redesigned. She did like the final print, final offer, all of that. And I read 2 out of the 3 of those books, and they were okay for me, not amazing, but they're just okay. But this story, it is in the same universe, at least the same town as the last book. And I'm only maybe about 8% into this book. So it's on Kindle Unlimited, and I downloaded it and started reading it. I wasn't really vibing with it, so I sent it back. And then when I decided that I was just going to read what everybody else was reading, I re-downloaded it. And this book, we're following so far 2 people. What is her? Okay, Dahlia is from Wisteria, and she left the town. I think she was engaged or whatever, but she started this whole like HGTV type TV show. And so she's famous in her small town. She's coming back. We don't know for what reason yet. And she runs into Julian, who is a billionaire, but he's also like a longtime friend. So it's giving like enemies to lovers or second chance. I think they dated at one point, but they broke each other's hearts. So just trying to figure out that part of it. So just 8% in. But my focus is on Iron Flame with a little love redesigned in the background. But I figured I would just read those two since everybody else is reading them. And I do want to get Iron Flame done and like be a part of that whole conversation. So excited to do that. But that is the update for Tuesday. And I will check back in tomorrow. Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It is a beautiful day here in Minnesota. It's like 48 and this 48 is hitting like 70. It's so good. Another day, another witch's brew. Alani doesn't need to sponsor me. If they want to send me some product, I am down. Okay, so here's what I read yesterday. I put all my energy toward Iron Flame. Yesterday, Reagan had Trumpet, and then went to the library. We're going to the library again today. I do have to edit a video today, but other than that, I will be reading. And I'm about, well, it says 10% on the Kindle, but it's all very subjective, right? Depending on how big your font size is or whatever. And so basically we are picking up where we left off, and Xaden and, sorry, I just lost my spot. Xaden and Violet are coming back together after fighting the sort of battle that they're tossed into, in which Violet should have died. She's healed. And they finally get to tell their truth to her mom, who's the general. And so she makes it as a second year because she survived. And so now we're going into her second year in this sort of military, you know, whatever. So Xaden is actually a lieutenant now. He got to lieutenancy. And, is that a word? That sounded so official. He has become a lieutenant, and I think purposely they have separated Xaden and Violet, and so they don't have an opportunity to see each other every day. They won't be training together every day, and so now Violet's kind of on her own. And through the process of the ending of last book, beginning of this book, she's had to have some hard truths around who she can trust and who she can't trust, and who can get into her brain and her thoughts and who can't, and how to block those things. So she's got quite the journey ahead of her. I think this book, I had no doubt it was going to be good. The reason why I didn't start it originally was simply because I had just read Powerless, as I've said 50 times now in 3 days on this vlog, but I had just read Powerless and I was like, I don't know if I really want to jump straight into another fantasy. But getting back acquainted with the stories, I didn't reread Fourth Wing. My intention was to go back through my notes of Fourth Wing and just sort of read those, but I didn't even end up doing that. So there's like a little bit of a period at the beginning where you're just kind of like trying to remember everything. But I'd say like around the 50, 60 page mark, it like immediately picked up, which I think is great for a any kind of fantasy novel. So now I'm starting chapter 8. And like I said, it says I'm 10% in. Just depends on what device I'm on. But starting chapter 8, and we'll continue reading this. I definitely won't finish this week. And I hesitate to grab another book because I don't want to deter myself. But I know like today we'll have time reading. Thursday's a big reading day. Friday's a big reading day. So hopefully I'll be going into the weekend with a new book. I still want to read Love Redesigned. And then I was thinking about the books that I recently got, as you know, holidays are coming up and December's like holiday books. And I was like, why do I have to have that rule? Like I could read any of them at any time. And I think I might read this one at some point this month, The Christmas Fix, just for like a little light Lucy Score stitch. And so that might happen as well. But for now, it's Iron Flame all the time. So I'm going to actually charge my Kindle. It's only at 69%, but you know, like you have a device and you have a certain percentage you feel comfortable with. 69 is not that percent. I like it in the 70s or the 80s. And so I'm going to charge it real quick and then be ready to read it later today in the evening. Anyway, that is the update. These weeks where I'm reading one book, the updates are not as long because I'm focused on that one book. But that is it. So I will see you tomorrow. Hey guys, happy Friday. I am popping on real quick again towards the end of the night. I realized I don't really vlog on Thursdays. It's just how it happens. But I just wanted to update you guys on what I'm reading. First of all, it's nighttime. I'm about to wind it down. I do live in Minnesota, but I always wear tank tops, so it can be 40 degrees outside, and it's 36 right now, and I have a tank top on. So if you're going to be a part of my channel, just know that's going to happen. Okay, so I am starting to read a different book. So I didn't read too much yesterday, but I did start a book, and I paused Iron Flame. And here's the thing with Iron Flame. I did not DNF it. I didn't even like intentionally pause it. It's just that right now I want to read something light. I want to read something short. I want to read something romantic. And so I just kind of paused an Iron Flame, and I still have it in the background, but I'm not really looking at it every day. But what I picked up was Big Nick Energy by Morgan Elizabeth. Now, Morgan Elizabeth wrote a book last year. It was called like, what was it, like Revenge something. But anyway, it was really cute. It came out around this time, and it was about a girl who got revenge on her ex at Christmas time with her boss. And I really liked it. Morgan Elizabeth has good writing style. It's a little bit spicy, but it's really cute. So I am about 16% into Big Nick Energy. I've been reading it on my Paperwhite, but I just pulled this out to show the cover. It's on Kindle Unlimited in case you're interested. And this book follows, I don't know the names, the main girl, and Nick. Nick has a son, Connor, who one day says he's going on a date from a dating app with a MILF. And the dad has been a single dad, to Connor, and is just like, hey, like, I raised you better than that, and this is not a good fit. Connor's like 24 or whatever. And then we get the woman's side of the story, and her and Connor go on the date, but she's fresh off a divorce. She has 2 kids. He is 24, she's 35. And she just realizes it's not a good fit, but they're really good friends. So they kind of start building a friendship, and it's Thanksgiving time, and Connor invites her and the girls to his dad's house for Thanksgiving because the girls didn't have any place to go, and her kids love horses, and Nick lives on a horse ranch, and so they decide to go. And Connor already told his dad, Nick, that this girl, although it didn't work out for him, it might be a good fit for his dad, which is weird. But they meet, and they already don't hit it off very well because, she's trying to get over this divorce, and she is, she's not financially strapped, but she's very frugal with her money. And she's very like realistic with the kids. And the first thing Nick asks is about like Elf on a Shelf. And she's like, we don't have elves that come, and like it's a whole thing. So I'm just, like I said, just started that first conflict. Now they're about to clean it up, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's cute. It's about 300 pages. My intention was really to be done with it like yesterday, but I just didn't get a chance to. I've been leaning into being productive during the day, but like if I'm tired at night, like just be tired, and it's okay. So I will do some more reading tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to the mall for the girls to take Santa pics. And it's so funny because my oldest is 15, and the cutoff age for kids is 15. I'm like, well, you're gonna be 15 for like the next however many years we do Santa pictures, because we gotta take the Santa pictures. We're gonna do that tomorrow, but I do hope to get some reading done. And then next week being Thanksgiving week, I took the day before Thanksgiving off, and then I have Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving off. So that's like 3 days plus the weekend of pure reading. So I'm excited about that. I do want to show too that my did I talk about this? Maybe it was only on my Instagram. So I am on Stuck in Stony Brook's Patreon. I've talked about them before. They're a Babysitters Club podcast. And I love them because I love how they deep dive into the book and talk about like the psychology of kids at that time, what was going on at that time. It's just a really good podcast to me. And I've recommended it to several people. But as I read, I think they're in like book 60 something. But as I read going to my reread, I go back to the very beginning because I caught them maybe like a year ago and kind of started listening from where I found them. But I'm going back to the beginning as I finish books and listening to it, and it's really good. Anyway, I'm on their Patreon, and I have been on for a few months, and so I got a sticker. And I decided to redo the back of my Kindle Scribe with the sticker as the main focal point and these stickers all around it. I think this fits a lot better than what it was before, because before it was just like these stickers plus a couple more and it just wasn't giving the same vibe, but now it is. So that is what I'm reading. And I will check in tomorrow. So usually if I miss a day, I try to come back on Saturday. But really, I am literally slowing down for the year on my reading. Like, I'm taking my time. I'm leaning into like just relaxing when I want to relax, not making it a race or competition to like finish books. And so we'll get there. I think it's because I'm so close to 200 books, and that's like my in the head goal that I know I will get there. So I'm not in a rush. I have like 7 books left to read in a month and a half, and I'm okay. So anyway, that is the update for Thursday. No, today's not Thursday. That is the update for Friday. And I will come back tomorrow. Hey guys, welcome back to Saturday, or welcome to Saturday and the last day of my vlog. Hopping on real quick to give you an update on what I read. So today I finished Big Nick Energy. I ended up giving that 3 stars. I didn't love it. Let's see. I think it was okay. I know what they're trying to do, where they're going with it, but I just didn't really enjoy it. And I'm currently at like 192 books completed this year, and so I already know like I'm burnt out on reading right now. So nothing's hitting and nothing is getting high marks, but I didn't really love it. It's a romance between, what is her name? You know I don't ever know their names. But it's an older relationship, and although I'm 40, like I don't love older relationships for some reason. Like, give me a good college romance, little hockey stitch, I'm here for it. But this one just didn't hit for me. I thought it was weird that like Connor is Nick's son, and Connor originally meets Shay. Her name is Shay. Originally meets Shay online. They hang out a couple times, and then he's like, no, not my deal, but here, Dad, you can have her. And like, it's weird. And then the Nick, sorry, I kind of blacked it out for a second, but now it's all coming back to now I know why I gave it 3 stars. Nick starts like trying to help Shay out, and she's like at first really resistant because she's just not used to having help. And then he starts by helping with some Christmas traditions, and she just like immediately falls for him, I guess because he's nice to the girls, right? And so she has 2 girls and he's nice to them. But what gets weird to me is that like he then immediately invites her and the kids to his ranch for the Christmas season, and like they go. And then one of the daughters has routine nightmares because of like the divorce, and there's some trigger warnings around domestic violence, and the daughter really wants Nick to like tuck her in and read to her. And at one point, Nick, the daughter, and Shay all kind of like lay in the bed together, and you know, Nick is there on top of the covers. Nothing salacious, but it just, as a mom, it just felt really unrealistic that we went from 0 to 100 with this stranger and the kids. So 3 stars for that. And then I didn't really read anything else today, but what I'm hoping to get to tomorrow is Dawn on the Coast, which is book number 23 in Babysitters Club. If you are new to my channel, I am rereading the Babysitters Club from the very first book. I've loved this book since I was a kid. And I just decided to go from the very beginning, and then maybe around book numbers about 13 to maybe 26, I have like no recollection of, and so I'm excited to read those. But here's the thing, I also, if you're new, I'll tell you, I don't care for Dawn as a character, just never have. She's not my fave at all, and the last book was a Jessie book, and I don't dislike Jessie. I just don't think they have much to talk about with Jessie yet. And so I'm like dragging through this because like I don't want to read a Dawn book, and every time a Dawn book comes up, I'm like, oh, when does she move to California? Like I'm ready to be done with it. But that's coming up next. I hope to finish that. And then I kind of have been eyeing, without any intention of reading, The Right Move by Liz Tomford. Everybody's kind of talking about this series. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It's a basketball romance set in Chicago. I don't know how I feel about it, but it might be good. And then there's something else I'm thinking about. Okay, so I have Love Redesign. Okay, Iron Flame is still happening in the background, but I'm really losing more and more steam on that because it just, yeah, I'm losing more steam on that. And then, oh, I love this. Okay, so I'm just looking at my Kindle Fire, which I haven't used in a while because I've been really digging into my Kindle Paperwhite and my Scribe, and they might have this on those devices as well. But on the home section of your Kindle, it also has the unread section, which is nice because I'm always downloading books and I'm like, what? I want them ordered into like what I haven't read, but they don't do that. And here's all the books that I haven't read that are on my Kindle. Okay, so that's really great. Okay, anyway, I also downloaded The Plot Twist. This is a new book that comes out on the 14th, I think, but I think it is it out? Okay, yeah, this is out, but I don't think it comes out officially in stores until the 14th. And this is part of the Hollywood series book, and it's book number 2. And I'm just going to read you the synopsis if I can find it. Maybe not. Oh yeah, let's see it in the store. It's gotten really high ratings so far. The first book in the series is called For Butter or Worse. I did not read that one, but I do remember seeing it. And I guess it's okay. Romance author Sophie Lyon's ironic secret just went viral. She's never been in love, and it's ruining her reputation. With the manuscript deadline looming, Sophie makes an ambitious plan to overcome her writer's block, reunite with her exes, including her last girlfriend Carla, the one person she could have loved, to learn why she's never fallen in love, and document it all for her millions of new online followers. Luckily, Sophie's reclusive landlord Dash Montrose, a former teen heartthrob, oh my god, I love a heartthrob, has social media all figured out and is willing to help. What he doesn't mention is that he's an anonymous online crafter, a hobby that helps him maintain his sobriety. No one knows about his complicated relationship with alcohol, and with a family that's Hollywood royalty, Dash has to steer clear of scandal. As Sophie and Dash grow closer, they discover a heat between them that rivals Dash's pottery kiln. But Sophie needs to figure out who she is outside her relationships, and Dash isn't sure he's stable enough for the commitment she deserves. So Sophie suggests what any good romance author would, a friends with benefits arrangement. Surely, a strictly casual relationship without won't cause any trouble. So that sounded really good to me. So I did that because I did go, so I plan to read that. I don't know if I'm starting it tomorrow, but I will read that this month. Because I went to Barnes today. And I was really just looking because, again, I'm buying things on my Kindle and like reading what I own. That's been really successful. But I did pick up something more collectorish because I said as far as buying books, and it would have to be a series or like a collector's edition, like a Harry Potter collector edition, or part of a series that I've already been reading. So anyway, I've been eyeing these books for a while, and I finally picked them up today. And it is the Crescent City book 1 and 2 in the Barnes & Noble edition. I really think these are great. So here's where I am with Sarah J. Maas. I did not care for Throne of Glass as a series, and I'm okay to live with that. I have 3 books left to read in that series, and I don't see that happening for me. However, after reading ACOTAR, I did jump into Crescent City, and maybe got about 100 pages in, which is nothing on this chunker, but I really, really liked it, and I liked where it was going, so I know that I'll read that. And then I also picked up book 2, because I knew I liked book 1, and then book 3 comes out in January, so maybe for December, January, I mean, I'm not on a timeline with it, but I do want to read these. Anyway, these exclusives are so pretty to me. You have the inside or the outside that looks really nice. The inside flap opens up. And the back flap opens up. So that's the Crescent City one. And then I have the House of Earth and Blood. There's that front cover. And here's the back. So I just think they're nice. I mean, honestly, I've been sitting on points with Barnes & Noble. There wasn't anything really out that I want because honestly, I do want to stick to and have been sticking to buying books on my Kindle. But these were collector's editions. And I have a Crescent City that's paperback, and the House of Earth and Blood or whatever. The second book is, no, this is House of Earth and Blood. This is House of Sky and Breath. House of Sky and Breath, I have it in hardcover, and so that's never going to do on my bookshelf. So that was why am I justifying this? That's why I bought them, but they're beautiful. So I'm waiting for book 3. Anyway, that is everything for this week. Let's see, next week is Thanksgiving week. I will still be doing my weekly reading vlog. I feel like I'll get a lot more done because I'll have a lot more time. But I think it was a pretty productive week. I didn't get necessarily too much finished on the reading end, but like I said, if I do a couple books a week, I feel good about that. And yeah, so that is it. If you are just checking this out on a whim, check out my other content, see if you like it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. Thank you to my new subscribers that have joined on, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.